They yanked me from my bunk before the sky had even begun to lighten. No explanation, no warning, just firm grips, cold metal cuffs, and a blunt accusation that didn't add up. Your wife and kids testified against you. I didn't ask why. I didn't need to. I knew that silence often buys more time than demanding answers. Outside, the speakers blared Reveille, a parody of discipline. I moved between the military police like I belonged in custody. And at that moment, I wasn't entirely sure I didn't. At the station, they shoved me into a freezing metal chair. I want a phone call, I said. The older MP raised his eyes. Who are you calling? I met his gaze, calm and unshaken. That's not your concern. My hand didn't tremble as I dialed. Not because I wasn't furious, but because I'd already known this day was coming. I just didn't expect it would be today. 12 seconds. That was all the call took. No names were spoken. Just an address, a date, and a single word delivered in a tone that meant, move. 1 hour later, the entire station came to a halt. He entered wearing his full uniform, Secretary of Defense, his face flushed red with fury, veins standing out on his neck, voice cutting through the silence like a blade. Release him. Now. The MPs froze, unsure, afraid. But they obeyed. Then he noticed the file on the desk, her file. He opened it. His jaw clenched. His head turned slowly toward the guards. Arrest his wife, he said with deadly calm. Betrayal hits differently when it comes from those who once called you Dad. Their voices were in the recording, lines fed to them like scripts, rehearsed and robotic. I saw him hit Mom. He told us he didn't want us around. It wasn't the words that broke me, it was the pauses. The unnatural gaps between their sentences, like they were waiting for silent approval from someone off camera. She'd rehearsed them, trained them. I could hear her whisper in every unnatural phrase. She didn't know I'd placed a bug in our bedroom. It wasn't even about her at the time. I did it to quiet the paranoia, the insomnia, the constant sense that something dark was always one step behind me. Turns out, I wasn't paranoid. I was just early. The folder from CID was thicker than our marriage license. Text messages, bank transfers, private photos. A younger officer, sloppier, reckless, and far beneath her intellect. She never erased any of it. Lovers rarely do. They think passion protects them. But passion is loud. Messy. It leaves a trail. I didn't confront her. I acted like nothing had changed. I went to work. I ate her dinners. I let her pretend I hadn't noticed. She overcompensated, smiling too wide, speaking too sweetly, touching me more than usual. As if affection could wash away betrayal. But bleach doesn't clean blood. It just spreads the stain. So I tested everything. A DNA swab from my son's toothbrush. A strand of hair from her brush, sent in for maternity testing. There was always something about her timeline that didn't add up. And when the results came, I didn't rage. I stepped outside, lit a cigarette, and let the wind slap my face. One child wasn't mine. The youngest, the one who clung to me the most. She hadn't even tried to hide it. The conception date missed my deployment return by 3 weeks. And yet she'd looked me dead in the eyes and said she couldn't sleep because she missed me so much. Her nights were full. Just not with me. I waited until Friday night. She was setting the table, pouring wine, wearing that silk dress she once reserved for special occasions. Trying too hard. I handed her a manila envelope. She laughed nervously. What's this? Read. Her hands trembled as she opened it. The further she read, the slower her fingers moved. Paternity test. Screenshots. Audio clips. I didn't speak. I didn't blink. I watched her unravel like soaked paper. She tried to talk, to spin the story, to squeeze some thread of pity from the shambles. But I already had the entire plot. The affair. The false accusations to Jag. Her scheme to take the kids, the house, the bank accounts, every piece. And she looked at me like I was a stranger. She wasn't wrong. The man who once loved her had died quietly, half a year ago. The man standing before her now only wanted the truth to scream louder than her lies. So I made another call. Not to an attorney. Not to my commanding officer. I called the one person she didn't know I was connected to. The name she once saw on a joint bank account and never questioned. The man whose daughter I carried out of a fire during the embassy siege years ago. You save a Secretary of Defense's child from death, and he owes you for life. I told him everything. No emotion. Just evidence, dates, motives. He didn't say much. Just listened. Understood. And now, hours later, he's standing in this room, eyes cold, voice final. Charge her with perjury, fraud, and falsifying federal testimony. She starts screaming. Not from guilt. Not from fear. From losing control. That's all she ever really wanted. As they snap the same cold cuffs on her wrists that once held mine, I don't blink. I don't look away. She's not my wife anymore. She's just another case number. The MPs, the base commander, even the secretary himself, they all offered apologies. I didn't accept. Sorry doesn't erase the memory of your son lying under oath with your name in his mouth. It doesn't fix the nights you spent staring at the ceiling of a cell, wondering how you missed the signs. I packed my duffel. I didn't say goodbye. Not to the kids. Maybe they were never mine at all. Strangely, that didn't hurt as much as I expected. Some pain is quiet. And once you've survived that silence, everything else is just background noise. As I walked past the main gate, a young corporal saluted me. I didn't return it. Not out of disrespect, but because I no longer belonged to the order he stood for. I'd stepped into something colder, sharper, real. And as I shut the car door behind me, only one thought remained. Next time, I won't need help.